Hi, sir. Good evening, sir. Sir, is my voice audible for everyone? Chairman, sir. Hi, Chairman, sir. Good evening, sir.
Actually, Chairman sir is not coming. I'm Ramu, sir, employee, sir. Hello.
Sir, go ahead, sir.
Okay, sir. You can start it, sir.
Yeah, I'll just take it forward, sir. Good evening, friend. I'm a little sorry for the little delay. Let me directly jump into the session. There was a little technical glitch in my Zoom, so it has taken little time to complete. Hi, Kasturi. Good evening. Hi, Aman. Good evening. In the last session, we were talking about the arrays. In fact, I covered the arrays a little elaborate, and I have covered the topic of sort. If I remember correctly, last week I have given one interest calculation assignment. I don't know how many of you completed this assignment. First, I'll start with the assignment answer, then we'll go into the filters. As you all know, in the initial 17 weeks, we covered entirely about the formulas related. Next 7 to 8 weeks, we will be talking about the features. Features includes sort, filter, data validation, and so on. Okay. So before going myself into the filters, let me explain you the interest calculation assignment. But before giving the answer for this, let me ask you, how many of you completed this assignment out of the members? Ramanjane Reddy, Sharma, Kasturi, Nina, anyone? Have you completed this assignment? Anyone? Have you tried at least? Fine, no problem. What I'll be doing, first I'll start giving the answer for this assignment. Then how to solve this assignment using the array function, because I'm more interested to give you the arrays in the class. For this, I already explained you, this is the ledger account of one of the company, one of the debtor. Debit is nothing but the transaction. Credit is nothing but the payment. The meaning is very simple. Whenever there is a transaction, as per the payment terms, it is due days 15, interest rate is 15%. We want the interest as on 31st March 2020, how much? For better understanding, I have given the defined name. DT means this entire column. DR means this entire column. CR means credit entire column. So let me take CR. You can see this entire credit column. In these type of cases, handling the assignment is very important. The first important thing is where to start the assignment. Okay, I generally do a working sheet. Many people, what they do, they'll start solving the assignment from here itself. I always keep my raw data separate from my working file, because if anything goes wrong with respect to the raw data, with respect to the working data, my raw data is still safe. That's the reason I always keep a separate sheet for the answers. So in these cases, I keep the variables first on the top. The variables are nothing but the due days. It is 15. The interest rate, it is 15% per annum. Okay. Friends, what is the problem with this data? Basically, whenever you find a statement can be of two types. One is calendar format, the other one is statement format. If you look here, this is a statement format. Basically, bank statements or ledger statements you'll find like this, because on the same day there may be a chance of more than one transaction, but some of the days there are no transactions. If you observe here, 31st December 2018, there are two transactions. But for all practical purpose, for the calculation of interest, both I have to put together, calculating as a 31st December 2018 total. And also some of the days there are no transactions. So if you look here, 1st January 2019, is there any transaction? No. So this, whenever we find as a statement format, my advice is always convert this into the calendar format. What do you mean by the calendar format? Calendar format means have a date from the first day of the transaction till the last date. For example, in this case, my transaction start date is 31st December. So let me take a simple function called min in the date column. Okay, once I enter, as you all know, date is nothing but a serial number. Now let me select this. Okay, let me select this into the short date format. Why I have taken a min function? Because later if user copy and paste the different data, Excel always consider the minimum date out of all the dates. That means the starting date. When I put this plus 1, can anyone tell in the chat box what will be the answer? 1st January 2019, right? Now let me copy this. Let me drag below. It's gonna be 2nd January because above cell plus 1 and so on. I want to calculate the interest till 31st March 2020. So what I'll be doing, I will simply drag the data till 31st March 2020, and I'm sure I'll get my answers. Okay. So copy paste, take it out. What is the difference between this one and this one? In this case, you may find more than one date and some of the days are missing. In this case, every day is a unique date. You will get to know the advantage of taking the date into this format. When I make the same thing for debit and credit, that means I'm converting my account statement format into the calendar format. Instead of me getting the data for repeated dates or missing dates, I'll have for every day what is the total of debit, what is the total of credit. Let's say if any of the day is missing, those answers will be 0. Simple. Okay. What I'll be doing, if I want to get the total for each day, what is the debit, I'll simply use a function called sum if function. Let me use the function called sum if. What is the range? The range gonna be, I will look into the date column. As you all know, DT column is nothing but raw data date column. In this column, what I need to look for? A criteria. This is the criteria, comma. What is the sum range? Which column values you want to sum? Debtor column. As you all know, DR column is nothing but the defined name of debit column from the raw data in this Excel workbook. If I enter, Excel gets the total of debit column by looking into the date column for 31st December 2018 as an answer. Okay, 3598. How 3598? Because 31st December 2019 18 has two values. The sum of these two values is 30,598. Right? Now, let me copy this and paste below. Wonderful. Because I copied and pasted, you can even use consolidate function also. Consolidate feature, it's not a function. You can even use consolidate feature. Kasturi, just give me another 2 minutes. Once I cover this, how to use the consolidate, I'll get back to you. Now, in the same way, how to get the credit here? Control C, Control V. Instead of CR, let me put, instead of DR, let me put CR, because 31st December 2018, there is no credit. So that's the reason it is 0. Let me just copy paste below. Wow. Friends, while you are handling these type of assignments, it is always required to have the validation controls. So what I'll be doing, I'll have the sum function here. These two must match with these two figures. Check it out. Absolutely matching. Wonderful. Friends, this table is nothing but the same table, but the raw data was in the calendar, sorry, account statement format, but I converted this into the calendar format. That is the only difference between the raw data and this data. If you don't want to use any formulas, as Kasturi mentioned, we can even use the consolidate. How to use consolidate? Simple. Copy these dates, paste here. Now I want to get the sum. I want to get the sum of debits and credits. I'll just keep the cursor here. I'll go to the data. I'll go to consolidate feature. Then what I need to do, I will go to the raw data. I will take from this. I'll select this entire 3 columns. I'll add in the memory of Excel. I'll go to the working file. I'll just take this data, start from first till the last. Because the heading is matching the date and the date, I'll ask Excel to take top row and left column. If you observe, left column for this as well as for the raw data is date. So it will consider the unique dates. Unique dates will be always this column because this column has all the unique dates. But top row are nothing but debit and credit because this data set doesn't have any top row. So Excel does consider the top row from the raw data. If I click OK, exactly the same thing I got it. But this you need to convert into the date format. No problem. I'll just go to the home tab. I'll just go here and let me convert into the short date. That's all. If you look here, this is the one exactly even here you got. But Kasturi, why I have used the formulas? Because if the raw data gets changed here by pasting some other data, what I'll be doing, this data will change automatically. But when I do the consolidate feature, this data will not change automatically. I hope you got the point, Kasturi. Right? Great. So for the time being, I'm just deleting this because it's not required for me. Okay. I hope everyone understood how to convert the account statement format into the calendar statement format. Till here, I did not actually done anything except the conversion. Great. Now, what I need to do, also the alignment of rows and columns should be same, right? Use consolidate, else it will not work. I didn't get your point, Arun. Also, the alignment of rows and columns should be same, right? To use consolidation. Yes, that's right. Okay. So I understood your point. As you said, yes, the rows and columns should have the same alignment. If the columns and rows are of the same size, then only it will work. No, Arun, I don't think so. Headings has to be same. I doubt exactly what is your question. Could you please unmute and speak if possible so that I can understand the question better?
Yeah, in consolidation, the data where we have to consolidate, that will also should be of the same size and it should have the same row headers, else this will not work, right?
Row headers has to be same. Yes, you are correct. Left column also has to be same. Size need not be same. If, for example, a value which is there in the first data set but not in the second data set, still it will consider the first data set value because out of both the data sets, it takes the unique values.
Yeah.
You got my point, Arun?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. In fact, I have given almost like 7 to 8 different case studies. When I was talking about the consolidation, I'll request you to just open that particular day file and look into the same. I'm sure you can recollect everything. Now, let me, okay, here actually this entire working I'm doing for what? To calculate the interest, right? Interest as on 31st March 2020. Let me keep the cursor here. I want actually the interest. Okay, let me follow the bottom up approach. Okay, instead of top to bottom, let me follow the bottom up approach. This is what the last step generally I do. But interest will come when? Can anyone tell? When you compare due with the payment. If the due is more than the payment, then I need to charge the interest. Okay, so as on the date, let me give the cumulative debit, let me give the cumulative credit. Then I'll compare these two. If cumulative debit is more, then I can say I need to charge the interest because debit minus credit. Otherwise, if cumulative credit is more, that means payment is more. If payment is more, am I need to charge interest? No. Just for the understanding, let me have one more column called due date. What is the due date? This plus 15 days is nothing but the due date. Let me just copy and paste. This is just for understanding. We are not going to use the due date anywhere. Friends, this is the method which I am following. If you have any different method to follow, you can always let me know. Okay, equal to. I want to have the due as on each date. Sum, because I'm going to have a cumulative debit. This column, this. Let me phrase this. As you all know this method, right? When you freeze the first cell, when you are not freezing the second one, this range becomes elastic when you copy and paste below. When I just copy and paste below, this becomes elastic. That means it has taken first cell to the first cell, first cell to the second cell, first cell to the third cell, fourth cell, and so on. My range is getting increased. If anyone having any question, please let me know while for writing cumulative debit. Simple. Friends, can I say cumulative debit is nothing but the due as on each date? As on 31st December, he need to pay 30,000. As on 1st January, he need to pay this. As on 2nd January, he need to pay this. As on 3rd January, he need to pay this, and so on. If anyone having any question till here, please let me know. You are correct. It's YTD. Yes, it is LTD actually, live to date, because this ledger account I got from 31st December. That's the first transaction, so I can say LTD, live to date. Now, are you going to compare cumulative credit with this? Let me take the same formula for the cumulative credit, equal to sum of this column, this, select this, I'm sorry, select the first one, gave the dollar, copy and paste. So as on 31st December, he need to pay this amount. But how much he paid? Nothing. Just because my cumulative debit is less than the payment, can I say we need to charge interest? No, because you are missing the logic. Why? The logic is very simple. Though as on 31st December, he need to pay 30,000, but he's having a chance to pay till 15th January. Mr. Saran, how can you compare cumulative debit with cumulative credit? Of course, you can compare cumulative debit with cumulative credit, but make sure that your cumulative credit you are taking till the due date. The meaning is I have to consider the 15 days total. Okay, enter. Why I have taken 15 days ahead? Because though he need to pay 30,000, I need to see next 15 days how much he paid. Okay, now let me simply copy paste. So this is the due as on the date. This is the cumulative credit till the due date. This is very important column out of the entire assignment. If you have any question, please let me know. This is the most important for this assignment. In fact, the assignment is over. I just need to write another small formula to complete the assignment. Simple. I'll ask a question. Cross check. If the due is more than payment, then due minus payment, please charge the interest at the rate of 15%, but I'm calculating per day, so divided by 365. Okay, so if it is debit is more, if credit is more, then zero, because if credit is more, that means already he paid excess than what is required, so I need not to charge the interest as a company. If anyone having any question understanding this, please let me know. Simple, right? enter, because obviously cumulative the credit is more, so there is no interest. Copy and paste. All right, digest the content. Now let me go down. Let us start looking into this. Okay, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? As on 15th March, he need to pay this, but he already paid this. So on the remaining balance, there is an interest. As on 16th March, he need to pay this. But how much he paid this? He paid this one till 31st March. As on 17th March, he need to pay this. But this amount he paid till 1st April 2020. But do you have the information after 31st March? No. So what I'm going to do, because I'm not sure whether he'll pay next after 31st March or not, because if I want to calculate interest even for this transaction, that means I should have the credit till 1st April. If you look into the credit, I'm sure it will take one cell excess than my data. How can I take this cell? Because I don't have data. I can't take this cell, right? So who knows? Maybe till here 14 days is the due days, but on the 15th day he may pay everything. So that's the reason what I do. I generally remove the last 15 days. If anyone having any question, understanding this concept, please let me know. This is also one of the very important things. Now, equal to sum of this entire interest is nothing but my answer. It's gonna be 26071. Okay, this is the way we need to complete the assignment. If anyone having any question, please let me know. But my dear friends, actually this is the one through a template method I have done. But I told you this is one of the practical assignment which I handled for other colleague chartered accountant. It was almost long back. But he did not expect this. What he said, Mr. Saran, I want a very simple solution. I don't want to change the data here, then again drag the data till whatever the dates I want and so on. Let's say when it is due date 17, then you know what will change? This has to be excess another 2 more days. Then you should copy and you should paste. Then you should remove last 2 days also. Here you should remove last 2 days. Why? Because it is my due date is 1st April. So now the interest is 23,863. So user has to do some of the changes. Okay. So if we don't want any change, then I should write a formula in one single cell, so that if user changes this data, change the parameters, my answer has to change automatically. So whatever you heard is correct. Is there any way which I can keep entire this calculation into one single cell? Is it possible or not possible? If it is possible, how? Kasturi, Sharma garu, anyone, Nina? I hope you heard correctly. I want to write the formula in one single cell to get this answer. Is it possible? First of all, that is the place where arrays plays very vital role. So when I start talking about the advanced, many people thought where we can use the array function. Just hold for next couple of minutes the questions what you have with respect to the arrays. I'm sure you can understand better. You will get to know the power of arrays. Now what I'll be doing, I want to do this entire calculation in one single cell. Please concentrate, everyone. First, let me take all the variables. Due days are 15, interest per annum is 15%. Then start date is nothing but a minimum of date column. It's gonna be 31st December 2018. As on which day I need to calculate the interest? 31st March 2020. That means for how many days I should calculate the interest? Can anyone tell me the correct formula here? For how many days I need to calculate the interest? From this date till this date, both are inclusive. But minus, do you know last 15 days we have removed the totals? We have removed the interest. If you observe, I have removed last 15 days here. These are all 15 days interest I have removed because my due date is going beyond this 31st March 2020. That means I should calculate the interest for 442 days starting from this date. Okay. If you go here just to cross check whether it is 442 correct or wrong, now let me take the first value of the interest, control shift down arrow till the last cell I have taken. If you observe here, this is the sum, this is the count, 442 cells I have selected. That means I calculated the interest for 442 cells, 442 days actually. So these all are the variables. If I change a parameter here, if I change a parameter here, if any data gets changed here, this will change. If I change this, automatically this will change. This is very important to know. I should calculate the interest for how many days. Okay. Please concentrate. Next 20 to 25 minutes. The topic may be a little complex because we are almost into the 18th session. So all the basics we have covered very thoroughly. Whoever missed my sessions, I request you to visit the Vijayawada branch of SIRC of ICI YouTube channel. I'm sure you'll find a playlist having all 17 videos. I'm sure after the session, you can even find the 18th session also. If you know the initial sessions better, if you practice the initial sessions, I'm sure you can understand the advanced topic, right? Concept. See, at the end, I have to calculate the interest. I'm sure you all know it. To calculate the interest, I should have cumulative debit. Then I should have cumulative credit less than or equal to due date. Right? But if you want to have a cumulative debit, first you must have a debit and credit column for each respective date. I'm sure you all agree with me. Yes, right? First, I should build this column in the array. Okay, everyone please concentrate. If I want to have the debit total for 31st December 2018, what formula I write? SUMIF. I need to look into which column? Date column. For which date? For this date. I want to total the values in the debit column. If I enter, could you please tell me what will be the answer? Anyone in the chat box, please. Could you please tell me the answer if I enter? It's gonna be very simple. Excel gonna sum the values by looking into the date column for 31st December of debit values. Okay, my answer is gonna be 30,598. Kasturi, you are absolutely right. Enter. In the last session, while I was talking about the arrays, I told you when this is one criteria, so it calculated at the back end once. When it is more than one criteria, it will calculate more than once at the back end. Very simple. Now, please remember your array basics. If I do flower bracket 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, please concentrate. Next half an hour, your utmost concentration is required because I'm not covering the basics, but I'm covering very advanced. Understanding this methodology make your work more simpler in many life case studies, whatever you do in your office. Okay, the same methodology you can apply at many different case studies. Great. If I select this, if I put F9, can anyone tell me in the chat box what is the answer? If I select this, right? If I put F9, please tell me what is the answer. What is the answer if I put F9? Simple. G4 plus 0, Z4 plus 1, Z4 plus 2, Z4 plus 3, Z4 plus 4, Z4 plus 5. Z4 means 31st December 2018 plus 0 is same value. 31st December 2018 plus 1 is 1st January, 2nd January, 3rd January, 4th January, and 5th January. Let me put F9. Wow. 31st December 2018 meaning is 43,465. 43,466. Next day 43,467. 3rd January 43,468. 4th January 43,469, and so on. See, instead of one criteria, I have got here 6 criteria, right? Now, whenever I select, okay, now this one, if I put F9, could you please tell me what will happen? Very simple. Because earlier we had only one criteria G4, I got the total as on 31st December 2018. But now the criteria is not just one, but there are 6 criteria. When 6 criteria are there in the SUMIF function, I want my Excel has to work 6 times at the back end. First time it has to take 31st December 2018. Second time it has to take 1st January 2019. Then 2nd January, and so on. If I put F9 at the back end, 6 SUMIF functions it calculates and give me the answer. This is the total as on 31st December. Because 1st January is not there, my answer is 0. 2nd January is not there, it is there, 20,000. 3rd January having 4 values, that's the total. 4th January has 2 values, that's the total. 5th January is not there, that's the reason it is 0. Wow, I'm almost nearby. For the debit, for each day, I am calculating the debit. But in this case, I have calculated only for 6 days. But ideally, for how many days I should calculate? For 42 days. Okay. Now what I need to do? Instead of keeping 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I should give 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I know what you are thinking. That Sharon is going in a very mad method, because like this, if I want to write 442, that will take a lot of time. So what I need to do, I should identify a method which can give me an array, which can give me the numbers start from 1 till 442. Concentrate, everyone. I told you, instead of this, I should have a method which can give me the array of 442 numbers. Okay, for the time being, what I'm doing, I just convert this into the text. Now let me explain you the function which can support me. NPER. No, Arun, how come NPER? Arun, how come NPER? NPER is number of periods, right? But I want the serial numbers here. No problem. Let me explain you. Friends, I think I have covered a function called row function. I'm sure you all must know this function. In fact, I have covered very elaborately 4 functions. Row function I have covered, rows function, column function, columns function. Go back to your previous weeks. I'm sure I have covered all these functions. Row function returns the row number of a cell reference. Rows function returns the number of rows in the range. Column function returns the column number of a cell reference. Columns function returns the number of columns in the range equal to row of A15. What's my answer? Least bother about what is there in the A15, but only bother about A15 is belongs to which row. 15, simple. When I put equal to row Z46, 46 is my answer. When I put column function, column Z46, Z is nothing but 26th column. When I put equal to column AZ 42, 45. What is the number of AZ column? It is 728. If I want to know the last column, column XFD 10. So XFD is the last column. As you all know, the number of columns are nothing but 16,342. So if I enter, sorry, 16,384. But when I put the row function equal to row, okay. If I enter, could you please tell me what is the answer? Ideally, you should give a reference, but reference is in the square bracket. If you enter, wherever you are writing a formula, by default, it considers that as a reference. My answer is going to be 6. Now, when I drag this, I'm sure my answer is going to be 7, 8, 9, and so on. But friends, let us understand a array methodology equal to row. What I do, I just put A1 colon A10. Actually, in the row function, how many references you should take? 1 reference, so that it will give you the row number of that. But here, how many references are there? 10 references are there. That means at the backend, Excel work 10 times for each reference. It work a row function. So if I put F9, first it will take A1, then it will take A2, then it will take A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, and so on till A10. So my row function worked first for A1, then it worked for A2, then it worked for A3, then it worked for A4, and so on. Then it extracted the row number for A1, for A2, and so on. Simple. Saran, if I keep it 100, do you think I'll get 1 to 100? Of course, as long as the logic is correct, it has to give the correct answer. Mr. Saran, if I give 1000, do you think it's going to give? As I said, as long as your logic is correct, it has to give. Check it out. Start from the first value. It has given an array. That means how many times my row function worked in this case? My row function worked 1000 times. Okay, either you can put row A1 column A 1000, or what you can do, you can even put row of 1 column 1000. Both are one and the same, because 1 column 1000 means from the first row till the last row, till the 1000th row. For the first row number is 1. For the second row number is 2, and so on. Simple. So what I'm going to do in this case, to overcome this problem of generating the serial number start from 1 to 442, what I need to do, I'll simply put, okay, this everyone knows, right? Plus row of 1 column 442. Wow. Wow. Now what Excel does, first Excel calculates this part. Then what Excel does, then Excel takes G4, it adds G4 with this array F9. Then what happened? G4 is Z4 plus 1, Z4 plus 2, Z4 plus 3, Z4 plus 4, and so on. Try to understand. Okay, what I'll be doing now, concentrate. I am just removing this. Okay, I'm writing again for you. Please concentrate. Instead of this, I'm simply using a function called row 1 column. For how many days I'm calculating? 442 days. So let me take 442, close bracket. Now at the back end, it will calculate debit for every day. Start from G4 plus 1. But there is a small mistake happened. You know what? My first answer is 0. Second answer is 20,005. Third answer is 30,497. If you observe, first answer actually must be 30,598. Second answer must be 0 because 1st January is not there. Third answer must be 20,000. But if you observe here, it has taken from the 1st January, but it has not given me the total of 31st December 2018. Can anyone please tell me what is the reason it is not giving me the total as on 31st December, but it is directly taking from 1st January? Anyone please? Concentrate. I already told you the topic which I'm covering today is like doing a small automation in one single formula. Can anyone please concentrate and tell me why it is not taking row 3 to be taken? Why I should take row 3, Rakesh? What do you mean by that? I've taken here 1 column 442. So when I decode this, it is giving me 1, 2, 3 and so on. But friends, G4 plus 0 actually will become a G4. But this is giving me from 1 directly. So I'm getting my first value as G4 plus 1. I hope you all got the point. But earlier manual array I have written 0, 1, 2, 3. That's the reason G4 plus 0 I got. So what I need to do now, very simple, put -1. Wow. Now what happened, you know, Excel is such a magic. First Excel calculates this part, F9, right? Then Excel calculates this part. 1 minus 1, 0. 2 minus 1, 1. 3 minus 1, 2. So instead your array getting from 1 to 442, your array will become 0 to 441. Number of values will not change, but the size will be changed. So when I put F9, take it out, it started now from 0, but the last value is 441. But do you think the values got changed? No, these all are 442 values. Because I'm starting from 0, it ended with 441. So now what happened? Z4 plus 0, Z4 plus 1, Z4 plus 2. That means my G4 also considered as a first value, because Z4 plus 0 is nothing but G4. Now what I'm going to do, if I can decode this entire part, my SUMIF function works for 442, first one 31st December, second one 1st January, 2nd January, 3rd January, 4th January, and so on. I think my debit column is ready. When debit column is ready, obviously your credit column is also ready. That means in one single cell, I got this column and I got this column. But am I need to compare these two columns? No. Actually, I'm not interested on debit. I am interested on cumulative debit. So I'll give you 2 minutes time. Please think and tell me what is the method you are going to follow to convert this debit column to the cumulative debit column. This is actually the debit for every day. But if I want to have debit for as on that date, that means cumulative debit, what is the method I need to follow? I'll just give you 2 minutes. Please think and answer. Put it in the chat. I hope everyone understood what I'm saying. I hope you understood my question. This is the debit column. For each day, what is the debit total? I got it from this formula. But what I want, not just debit for that date, but I want debit as on the date. That means now if I put F9, I should have a cumulative sum. That means if I put F9, instead of me getting 30,598, 0, I should get, you know what, 30,598. 0 plus 30,000, 30,598. 20,000, 0, 20,005 plus 0 plus 30,598. Here I should have a cumulative of these 3. Here I should have cumulative of these 4. Here I should have cumulative of these 5, and so on. But to get that, what I need to do? See, what I'm expecting from you, by editing this formula, I want to build this column. Arun, elastic method, dollar only helpful. First of all, you must understand the basic concept that dollars has only relevance when you copy and paste. Dollars doesn't have any relevance when you are writing the formula only in one single cell. Arun, I hope you got the point. Dollars is only to fix the data. Great. Okay. For 2 minutes, Please think, because if you can crack this, you can consider you are the advanced user of MS Excel. Think everyone, what to be done so that my debit for each day will become cumulative debit for each day. I'll just give you 2 minutes. Anyone? Any clue? Just think. Until you practice, until you keep the formula on the paper, until you structure on the paper, you cannot learn Excel. By just looking into the formula, by just listening to the classes, you cannot learn Excel. On the first day I told you, in fact, every session I'm telling you the same fact. Until unless you practice, okay, you can't learn Excel better. When you listen, maybe that remains in your mind for just 2 to 3 days. After that, it evaporates. When you practice, you will get many questions. While you solve the questions, while you are answering the questions yourself, I'm sure you can understand much better. I'll give you another 2 minutes, no problem. Start thinking. Okay, no problem. Let me explain you. If I can keep less than or equal to and join symbol. If I can keep less than or equal to on join symbol, then what will happen? Simple. First Excel decodes this part. First let me give the text enter, then let me explain you. Because even if I start decoding step by step, nothing will happen. Concentrate what Excel does. Excel first decode this part. As you all know, it's gonna give you start from 1 till 442. Okay, let me show you here so that you can see better. See, start from 1 till 442. If I can take even this one, if I do F9, so 1 minus 1, 2 minus 1, 3 minus 1, for every value in the array minus 1, let me put F9. So it became 0 because earlier it was 1, this earlier it was 2, now it became 1, 2, 3, and so on till 442. Earlier this value was 442. 442 minus 1 is 441. Wonderful. Now Excel decodes this part. As you all know, G4 is nothing but 31st December 2018. So 31st December 2018 plus 0 serial number, 31st December 2018 plus 1, and so on. Let me put F9. Till here, I'm sure everyone understood. But this is the only excess part I have done. Because I kept less than or equal to constant and any symbol, but I'm joining not for one single value, but I'm joining the same for 442 values. That means what Excel does, this less than or equal to, it will join with every value out of these 442. Now, before every value, concentrate. Before every value, I got less than or equal to. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of it? Excel, could you please look into the date column? For less than or equal to 31st December 2018, then total the values in the debit column, that is the first calculation. And again, because I got more than one value in the criteria, Excel again work with the sum if function. Now Excel will cross check less than or equal to 1st January 2019. Less than or equal to 1st January 2019 means till 1st January 2019. That includes 31st December and 1st January. So here 31st December, 1st January, 2nd January. 31st December, 1st January, 2nd January, 3rd January. That means less than or equal to 43,906 means starting from the first date till the last date, give the total. I hope everyone understood the logic of this. If anyone having any question, please let me know. Now, just to show you whether this is giving me correct answer or not, let me put F9. Wow. Now, if you observe, do you remember the first value? It was 30,598. Ideally, this is 0 because 1st January, no value is there. But I have taken as on 1st January. That includes this plus 0. This is actually 20,005. But this plus this, and so on. So this is nothing but my cumulative debit. Wow. See the beauty of Excel. Just because the cumulative debit. If you have any question understanding this, please let me know. Tell me, anyone? Anyone, please tell me. Arun, have you got the point? Kasturi, Sharmaji, Nina, other members, Ramanjani Reddy, Rakesha. Yeah, I know, because Once you start practicing, then only you can get it. So because we are almost towards the uh, end of the course, because if I take another 6 sessions, I think the sessions will get over. But I'm trying my level best to give you the important things. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So because we are into the areas, so this is the way we need to work on. But don't worry, you can see how simple things can make the bigger results. Now I think my cumulative debit is ready. That means in the working, this column is ready. Now I have to build this column. You know how to build that column? Simple. Copy and paste. Now I should have cumulative credit less than or equal to due date. You know the only difference between this and this is when I take CR, it is going to give me the cumulative credit. Actually, when I take CR, it's going to give me the cumulative credit, but I don't want cumulative credit for first day onwards. My cumulative credit must be 15 days ahead, right? I cannot compare cumulative debit with the cumulative credit. Yeah, yes, Rakesh. You should 100% practice the sessions. As I already mentioned, every day of my session is connected to the previous topic. Whoever missed the array concept last week and before last week, for them it's going to be very difficult to understand today's session. I know that. That's the reason before coming, because every week there is a 7 days in between for the session. So whenever you have time, start looking for my previous sessions so that you can get idea exactly what I'm speaking here. Okay, anyway, just give me another 5 minutes, I'll complete this part. See, this is I'm sorry, this, one second, this is credit, right? This is cumulative debit, this is cumulative credit, but which is not correct. You know why? Because I don't compare cumulative debit with cumulative credit. My credit must be always 15 days ahead. So what I need to do, let me put plus due days, because if due days are 15, my credit also has to be 15 days ahead. Why I kept plus 15? Because if I take this, you know what is my answer? Z4 plus 15. That means 15th January 2019. That means my credit will be cumulative credit. If I put F9, my first value itself is 2,74,161. Okay, if you go and check it out, this is exactly same. Why? Because you are calculating till 15th January. But how to reach 15th January? This plus this one plus 15 days. Exactly the same thing I have done. Simple. I have taken the cumulative debit, then I have taken the cumulative credit, but extra I did plus G2. That means due days. I think 90% of the assignment is over. Now what I should do, you know, simple. Let me put if function. Okay. If function, what we have done, cross check whether debit is greater than credit. Now, where is the debit? This is the debit array having 442 by 1 matrix. Greater than, I'm asking Excel to cross check whether is it greater than or equal to this. If it is, then what I want, if it is greater than to this, then I want debit minus credit, right? Control C, let me put control V. I just need to give minus. Friends, you need to just compare this like this is cumulative debit, this is cumulative credit, you know, ahead of 15 days. I'm comparing cumulative debit with cumulative credit ahead of 15 days. If true, then I want cumulative debit value minus cumulative credit value into 15%, right? Divided by 365, because I'm calculating for each day, comma. Why comma? Because if cumulative debit is not greater than cumulative debit ahead of 15 days, then I want 0 as an answer, close bracket. Now what Excel does at the back end, because it is 442 by 1 matrix, this is also 442 by 1 matrix. Excel cross-check first value of this matrix, will check with the first value of this matrix. If it is true, then Excel will consider this. If it is false, Excel will consider 0. That means my if function internally work for 442. So if I put F9, wherever cumulative debit is more, I'll have the interest. Wherever cumulative credit is more, I'll have 0. Just check it out. Do you remember? Initial days, it was actually credit is more, but from after 20 days, debit is more. That's the reason you got the interest. It is calculating with 15 accurate decimals. Okay, wonderful. But is it the one you are looking for? No, because this has given me independently all the 442 interest. But I need to use which function to get the sum of this? Sum function. As you all know, this is working 442 times. I want Excel to sum all the final results. That means when at the back end, if it is calculating more than once, that method we call it as an array method. If you are using not latest version, that means old version, then I request you to use Control Shift Enter. But if you are using Microsoft 365, you can still enter. Excel will give you the correct answer. Could you guys please tell me if I enter whether I'll get the correct answer or wrong answer? Absolutely correct answer. 26071. Check it out. Check it out. Entire formula. Now you can remove this, no problem. Check it out. Entire formula I just did in one single cell. If you have any question, please let me know. This is the power of Excel. Yeah. So if I can build this type of formula, and if I can protect this cell, if I build this type of formula and protect the cell, and if I give it to the client, when client change this data, when he paste wherever he want, when he change the due days, I'm sure this will change automatically, right? Please let me know if you have any question. Now, if I go and make it 16, then if I make it 18%, okay. If I make it as on 31st, now you got the correct answer. But if I make it as on 31st March 2021, do you think your answer is changing? Can you tell me why my answer is not changing automatically when I change as on 31st March 2021, I want to calculate the interest? Can you tell me what is the small change I should do in this entire assignment? Mr. Saran, you have done every automation. Absolutely, Rakesh. Arun, you are also correct. Because 442 was a constant I have taken here. Oh my God. Okay. All the places 442 is a constant. Now, I want to make this 442 also relative. That means I should link this 442 to this cell. Then what I need to do? What I need to do, can anyone tell? Please, because I have covered every damn thing which is required to calculate this in the previous sessions. Someone told me today that I should use one function called indirect function. Concentrate what I need to do. See, basically, I don't want this 442. I want to have a reference. So join with this. But Excel doesn't understand what is the meaning of it. Then let me keep this in the text. When you keep one column, because anyway, one column is required, right? When you keep one column Z6, that means one column, if I put F9, can you please tell me what will happen? One column 806, wonderful. But this is a text. What Excel is expecting? A reference. So Excel gonna give me value error when I enter. How to convert this text into the reference? Let me use a function called indirect function. In fact, I have very elaborate this function. Indirect function, if I can keep here, though it is a text, because I am keeping into indirect function, one column 806 will become a reference. So what I'm going to do, Control C, wherever one column 442 is there, let me do Control V, and let me do Control V, and let me do Control V. Control Shift Enter. Wow. Now you do whatever you want. 18, 20%. As on 31st March 2022, everything got changed. Now my array is nothing but 1169. Can't we substitute G6 in place of 442? That's what I said. But if you substitute G6 instead of 442, okay, you were saying it is like that. One column G6 directly, is it? But Excel doesn't know the meaning of this. Okay, what is the meaning of it? Now let me put the row function. This is what you said, right? Okay, 1 second. Oops, equal to row. So one column G6. Okay, close bracket. When you select this, and if you put F9, Excel doesn't understand the meaning of it. Obviously, right? One column 446 doesn't have any meaning. But when you are using the same thing in the double quotation, this becomes a text, right? When it is becoming a text, I'm taking the support of indirect function, which can help me to convert this into the reference. Wow. Now you do whatever you want. 22 days, 25%. As on 31st March 2020, then this is the answer I get it. And let me take 15%, 15%. This is the answer I get it. But friends, as I already told you, this formula length is very big. Formula length is very big. Though it looks like a bigger formula, but out of this entire assignment, you know what is the crux? Understanding one part of sum if, because this is the same thing I have repeated 4 times, right? Anyone having any question? Please let me know. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very big formula. It's not about a formula, rather it may be looking like a bigger formula, but if you observe, instead of doing these many columns, writing this formula gonna be simple, because you are giving a permanent solution. But I'm coming to your point, Radha. You are asking me, Sharon, is there any way we can reduce this formula size? Yeah, Aruna, there's no point to use R1C1. R1C1 I need to use in the cases where I want to count the column number, but in the normal cases, it's not possible. But in this case, there is no situation to count the column number. Yeah, rather I'm coming to your point. I think last time I have given a function called let. Microsoft 365 latest version, for the insiders especially, there is a function they introduced called let. Let is a function, okay, if you put let, you can see assign calculation results to names, useful for storming intermediate calculation and values by defining the names inside the formula. These names only apply within the scope of that function. Let me explain you in a simplest way. Do you know the concept called variables in the VBA? Whoever having a programming skill. What is generally the variable? X is equal to 5, y is equal to 5. If I ask you x plus y, how much? My answer is 10. Variable x is 5, variable y is 6. My answer gonna be 11. Here x and y are the variables. Let is the great function which has given a lot of strength to the Excel introduced in Microsoft 365, through which I can define let. What I can do, I can give a name variable X. I can assign a value to that file. I can give Y. I can assign a value 6. Now let me do the calculation X plus Y. Now, until completion of this formula, X means 5, Y means 6. Wherever you use X and Y in this case, it's going to be 5 and 6. When I enter, I got my answer 11. If anyone having any question, please let me know. You're absolutely right, Arun. Let is like the naming function, named range. You are right. Don't worry, I'll explain rather. There is a function in MS Excel called let, which is allowing the user to define their own variables. Let's say X is nothing but 5, Y is nothing but 6, then X plus Y is nothing but 5 plus 6. Otherwise, I can even write like this. Let's say X is 10, Y is, okay, Y means X plus 10. Could you please tell me X plus Y, what is the answer if I enter? X means 10, Excel stored at the back end. Y means X plus 10, X already stored, 10 plus 10, 20. That means Y also got stored as 20. So 10 plus 20, my answer is going to be 30. That means, when you can use the let function in the formula, when you know that the same formula you are repeating n number of times, then you can take the support of let function. Rather, for your question, if I want to make this formula smaller, what I can do, I will just take equal to let. First, let me define. Okay, 1 second. Let me keep it as a text so that I can go and copy pieces here. First, let me, okay, I want to write, first I want to define this entire part, okay, because the same thing, how many places I have used? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So Control C. What I'm going to do now, I'll just put here, I'll just call that as an X, comma, this. That means this entire array, let me put F9, this entire array will be stored as an X. X can be even an array for your information. If you have any question, please let me know. Now what I can do, can anyone tell? Simple. I can simply go here. Now you can copy this entire formula, Control C. Now you can go here. Now you can paste as a calculation after the variable, Control V. But this entirely, I made it as a X, right? This entirely, I made it as a X. X plus Z2 because it's a credit, so it has to be 15 days ahead. That's the reason I've taken that. And this entirely has to be X, right? And this entirely has to be X. Okay. Do you think I'll get my answer? Absolutely. Okay. Let me close the bracket because I had to close the left function. 1 second. I think somewhere I missed it. So X is less than or equal to. Is there any place which I missed? Okay. So 1 second. I've just taken less than or equal to G4. Row of this one, comma. Now in the sum function, I have used if sum f dt x comma dr greater than sum f x plus z2. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Let me check. Yeah, Arun, let works in only, see, for your information, the variable scope is only for that single cell. Okay, but when you write in the macro, of course, you can use in every workbook. But just give me 1 minute. First, let me correct this formula. So credit. So when I put sum f dt xdr minus sum f dt xg2 close bracket now g3 divided by 365 comma 0. Now let me close the sum function. Wonderful. Now let me close this. Hey, why this is giving me a wrong answer? Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second, not much time. F9, so it has given me a proper variables. So I have used, okay, comma, in the sum function, I have used wherever required to be used X. That means this entire will be substituted here. And I think I've taken correct one. Just give me 1 second because since it's a big formula. So what I'm going to do, I'll just copy this, Control C. Let me do Control V. Okay. On top of this, put the let function. I want to define X is nothing but this entire array, because this the same thing I have used n number of places. Control C. Now let me do Control V. I'll just keep comma here. Okay. But because wherever it is there, now I can easily keep X, right? And wherever it is there, less than or equal to this part, I can keep X. And wherever it is there, I can keep X. And from less than or equal to till here, wherever it is there, let me put X. Now let me close the let function. Ideally, it must give me the correct answer. Okay, where I'm missing, is it double? No. Less than or equal to, is there anything which I'm missing? G3 divided by 365. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, let me take sum if. Let me put F9. Oh, okay. Okay, what I do, because it is considering X is nothing but, let me select this F and F9. Okay, so this array, it has to give me everything. Let me put F9. So this entire array has to come and sit here, ideally. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm just trying to see where I'm missing. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Just give me 1 minute because I'm just trying to re-engineer this. Though I'm Excel faculty, but somewhere if you are having little confusion, everything may go wrong. We must be very careful. So I'm just trying to see part of this, what Excel is doing. F9, oops, it should not be the case. If it is greater than this, F9, okay. I'm just trying to see where I'm missing. No, it's not about all center. Yeah, that we can do. Okay, that is also good idea. See, this is the part. Okay, X is nothing but a variable, and this is the sum function. Otherwise, what I do, I'll just make it piece by piece, because this is what we must be very careful. Let me take the let function. Let me take X is nothing but, first I'll only take this part to make sure that everything is working fine. Control C. Okay. X is nothing but this, Control V, comma. Wherever this row function is there, let me take it as an X. Wherever this row function is there, let me take it as an X.
Sir, your video and voice both are not being working. Your video and voice both have been stuck.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute here. There is a power cut. I'm just trying to process it. Is my voice okay now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, here there is a power cut, so I just connected from the other network. Okay, so what I'm trying to do in this
Sir,
case,
still your
I
voice is
am just
breaking.
only
Sorry to interrupt, but still your voice is breaking.
Please excuse me. Here there is a power cut, so I connected from my phone. Is it still breaking?
Now it's perfect. No problem.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to replace only the row part. If it is working, I'm sure it must be fine. Let's take X here. Oops. Yeah, this entire part is X. Then I'm just trying to explain you with respect to the let function how to work. Let me put X. So if I enter, okay, let me close the let function. If I enter, it has to give the correct answer. Okay. So this is the way it works. Now comparatively this, it got reduced because instead of me using the same row function 4 times, I can simply use this. But to make this more smaller, you know what I'll be doing? I'll take CUMDR is the name, cumulative debate. Please concentrate everyone. Now, for the cumulative debate, this is the formula. I'm sure you all know it. Now, what I'll be doing, I'll simply copy this part. I'll simply copy this part. I'll just put here Control V. I'll do comma. That means this is one variable I made it. Okay, let me do Alt Enter so that you can understand. Alt Enter. This is the second variable called cumulative debit. Now this is the calculation. In the calculation, this is nothing but I'm going to put here CUMDR, right? And also instead of this, let me put here CUMDR, right? But I want to make it much more smaller. Why? Let me give another variable called cumulative credit till due date, DD. So that this is a little coding so that it will be self-explanatory. Now what I'll be doing, I'll simply copy this part, Control C. Let me do Control V. Okay, keep calm. Now you can use CUMCR till due date, Control C. You can simply put Control V, and you can simply put Control V. Now I am sure you can understand this better, right? So if I enter, this still will give you the correct answer. So when you need to use the let function, when you need to use the let function, wherever there is a situation, you need to use the same thing again and again. So instead of X, let me make it more self-explanatory. Days. Okay, so wherever X is there, let me put the number of days, right? Let me put the days here. Here also X is there, right? Simple. Okay, now let me put enter. Still you'll get the correct answer. Now you can see the formula text and you can compare. I'm sure this formula text is equal to length of this. You can just start comparing the length. I'm sure the second one is much more smaller compared to the first one because there are extra spaces also. That's why it looks like right side. But otherwise, this is a very simple method. That's the reason we all should appreciate the let function because let function make my work more simple. Yeah, lambda function uses named range. How is let different from lambda? Lambda function had to evolve very recently. 2 months back, they introduced lambda is basically, yeah. Sir, use alt enter in the formula by snipping tool so that it is easy to understand. Okay, rather just give me, Arun, just hold your question. I'm going to do the same. So this is the variable. Let me keep all the variables one after other. Now this is the calculation. Now let me put if function here. Now this is the first argument of a function. Then this is the true result, and this gonna be the false result. Okay, and this will give me if function is over, then sum function is over, and my finally let function is over. Okay, let me just go here. Let me just go here. Yeah, just give me open. Yeah, so that I can take in the snipping tool if everything comes. Now let me copy this and paste it till here. Control C, right? Enter. Control V. Yeah, rather this is for you. Okay, so you can understand from this much better. So this entire calculation I kept into the single let function. Yeah, let me come back to the question asked by Arun about the function called lambda. Yeah, Arun, that's what I'm saying. Lambda, there are two ways. Actually, there are three ways through which you can create your own function. So, functions in MS Excel, one given by Microsoft. Okay, example, you have so many functions, right? Some function, VLOOKUP, these all you need not to create, it's already there inbuilt. Second one, user defined function. We call it as a UDF, user defined functions. You can go, we can create this by going into, we can create using Visual Basic for applications. Okay, you can start with a sub function and you can end function and so on. Okay, the third one, in fact, this lambda is the function lambda. This is the new function introduced in very recently. This is as of now for the insider users. The advantage of using the lambda is this is also the way you can create them. Okay, we can create a function for the calculations. Okay, probably I can cover this much elaborate in the next sessions because this function yet to evolve and we have to see where in the practical cases we can use it. But by looking apparently the text what Microsoft has given in the helper, I do understand that through this function, let's say I'm making a valuation or I'm making the data modeling. A small calculation is the one which I'm going to repeat at least 10 to 15 times. But instead, what I can do, I can make the calculation in the defined name in the lambda so that it stores that name of the function. Next time, whenever you're going to keep that name, okay, so the entire calculation, what you defined in the defined name will work. Okay, maybe we can take more examples in the coming sessions. It's not a macro, Arun. It's not a macro. This is basically a macro, Visual Basic, but lambda is through the function itself you can make. Okay, but just remind me, maybe in the coming sessions I can cover because I have to see in our day-to-day work where we can use, because I'm trying to make a practical case study using the lambda. Probably then I can cover like today how I have covered the let function and interest calculation. Okay, just give me some time. Maybe by next week I'll come with at least a proper case study to use the lambda. Okay, that's all for interest calculation. Today's session, though it looks like a very simple interest calculation to create the new function. That's right, rather. Lambda, as you said, lambda is a new function through which you can create supporting functions. You're absolutely right. Okay, you can store something in the lambda inside, and that name you can use n number of times throughout your entire Excel workbook. Great. So today we have another 30 minutes. Now let me stop this formulas related for some time. Let me start talking about features. What I'll do now, I'll just go to the folder. Okay, day 18. Let me cover advanced filter. So for next 15 to 20 minutes, then we can close. Okay, so I request everyone, please go back to the interest calculation because interest calculation is something very important. Once you start working with the interest calculation, I'm sure you may have so many doubts with respect to the indirect function, using the row function, using the let function. Hold all the questions, practice it. I'm sure your questions will get answered. If not, please let me know in the next week. if you know the same method of interest calculation, even for any other bank statement, only interest calculation and all other things, you can do the same method. Okay, great. Very quickly, let me prepare the data for, because whatever the example which I take it, I make sure that text is part of my data, numbers are part of my data, and dates are also part of my data. Let me take company, let me take area, let me take date, and let me take amount. Can I have some quick company names? Let me take I'll take Facebook, I'll take Microsoft, I'll take Wipro, I'll take a TCS, I'll take a Cognizant, and okay, let this 4 or 5 companies, that's fine. Now let me simply drag this. Yeah, 5 is sufficient. I just feel rather let me drag this till, let it be so 500 records or whatever it is. Okay. Now let's take quickly east, west, south, north. Okay, many people always question me about the data. Many people say that, Sharon, to use all the formulas what you cover, we don't have a data. But if you attend my sessions, I never come with a pre-formatted data. I prepare the data before you. So the same techniques you can follow to prepare the data to practice the functions which I cover. So let me use the random between. I want to take from 2010, sorry, 2010 1 date. I want to take till 2020 12 31st. Okay. So from 2010 till 2020, I want to consider just copy and paste equal to random between 100 to 1000. Just enter, copy, and paste. Okay. Just copy paste special values because I don't want my random between has to change. This format has to change into the short date so that it comes as a date format. Wonderful. Let me freeze the first row so that even when I go to the downside, my first row is appearing, right? Great. As you all know, filters are very simple. You can go to the data tab and you can click the filter, and based on the relevance of the data, in 2010 version, you have the search box in the filters. Okay, if you want, there are check boxes. Once you click it, temporarily the other items are hidden. Whatever you have selected, those that got selected, you can just click the clear, so filters will be clear. The difference between the sort and the filter is it sorts the data. That is one thing. But as we already mentioned, sort having a limitation, it changes the position of the data. Whereas in the filter, though temporarily you are filtering the data, it looks like the positions got changed. But once you clear the data, once you clear the filter, the position is exactly the same. Okay. So you can go to the company, area, date, amount. As you all know, you can select the check boxes. When it is a date, it automatically identify and it automatically group the dates together. When it is a numbers, it is giving you the numbers related filter. Friends, if the majority of the data below the heading is text, it displays the text filters. Obviously, when it comes to the text filter, it is either starts with or ends with or contains or doesn't contains or equal to or doesn't equal to. You take anything with respect to the text other than these 6, you can't fit, because you cannot use greater than or equal to, less than or equal to for the text, because for the text logical operators will not work except equal to or not equal to. You can compare two text values whether both are same. You can compare two text values whether both are not same, right? You cannot use any other logical values. You can ask Excel to start with, end with, contains, doesn't contain. Because most of the below values are text, I got the text filter. Here, most of the values are text, again I got the text filters. Excel is very clever because most of the below values are dates. Excel has given me the date filters, so you can directly ask Excel, I want to filter which is equal to this, before this, after this, between these two dates, tomorrow, today, yesterday. I want to filter next week, this week, last week, next month, this month, last month, next quarter, this quarter, last quarter, next year, this year, last year, and so on. Again, I want the dates which are belongs to the quarter one. or else I want all the transactions which belongs to the quarter 2, and so on. You can do whatever you want. Okay, you can just clear the filter. When it comes to the numbers, you will get the number related filters. So since it's a number, all the logical operators will be there: equal to, not equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, between, top 10, above average, below average, and so on. I'm not interested giving you more because these all are very simple. I'm sure you may be already knowing this. But I'm more interested to explain you what do you mean by the advanced. Advanced filter concept is, in the case of complex criteria, how can you work with this? That's the meaning of it. Now, let me take an example. I want to extract the company belongs to the Wipro. Normally, what you do, you go here, you will just select the Wipro, then you will copy this data, then you will paste it wherever you want, right? Then you will remove the filter. Instead, what I can do, I can even extract the data by using advanced. Go to the advanced, select this data, go to the criteria range. My criteria is this. Concentrate. Advanced filter having 3 fields. List range is nothing but from which data you want to extract. You want to filter rather. What is the criteria? Make sure that whatever the criteria you have selected, that is having a heading, and that heading is matching to the column what you are looking for. So what Excel does now, because the company heading here is matching, and I have taken Wipro here, it will try to cross check, is Facebook equal to Wipro? False, it ignores. Is Microsoft equal to Wipro? False, it ignores. Is Wipro equal to Wipro? True. Then when it is matching, this entire row, it will filter. That's the meaning of it. When I click OK, here itself, it will filter the Wipro, but I don't want to get the filter here. I want to get the filter, actually the filter data outside. Then what I need to do, go to the advanced, select the list range. This is what my list range is, and my criteria range is these two, F1 colon F2. Now, instead of filter the list in the same place, let me copy to another location. Where you want to copy to? I want to copy from here. Once I click OK, I'll get the list of the Wipro here. Wow. Okay. For the time being, let me just hide. Now what I do, let me take one more. Don't worry, I'll take more examples. Don't worry. Okay, so let's go here. I want to have TCS. And I want to have Facebook also. Now what I'm going to do, let's go to the advanced filter. The same data it has selected. Now I want to take the criteria, but not the earlier one. But my criteria is this. Friends, when I keep TCS and Facebook one below other, the meaning is, for this company, I want either it has to be TCS or Facebook. What Excel does is, Facebook equal to TCS? False. It's okay. Is Facebook equal to Facebook? True. Because out of these two, at least one is true, so it will extract. So either it has to match TCS or it has to match Facebook. That's the meaning of it. Where I want to paste this data, I want to paste here, copy to here, click OK. Wow. You'll get TCS and Facebook, TCS and Facebook. This is very much helpful in case the data is huge, where you can filter it, copy, paste. You can simply use the advanced filter technique. Now, for example, let me take the company, let me take the area. Wow. Now, what I'll be doing, I just take Facebook here, or else let me take Cognizant. Now let me take the west side. I want all the Cognizant west side. Then what I'll be doing, I will, then what I need to do, I need to look into the advanced. I need to look into the advanced. So this is the list range. Yeah, this is the list range, and criteria range is, take this one. Cognizant and West, I kept one after other in the same room, as well as this criteria. That means both has to match. Is Facebook equal to Cognizant? False. Is East equal to West? False. False, false. Anyway, this is false. Ignore. False, true. Still ignore, because I want both has to be matched. Now I want to copy to another location. I can just keep the cursor here. Once I click OK, the entire data will be pasted here. Check it out. Every cognizant and vast I got. Let's take more examples. For example, if I take the same thing, company, area, cognizant, then I have taken West here. Now this is my criteria area. Guys, could you please tell me if I take, go here, sorry, if I go to the advanced filter, now my criteria is this. Now I want to copy to another location. This is the area. Could you please put in the chat box, if I click OK, what transactions will be extracted? Please, I'll give you 2 minutes. Tell me what transactions will be extracted. Okay. All cognizant and yeah, I'm really sorry today. It seems there is some network issue at my place. Yeah, let me show you the screen. Is my voice okay now?
It's perfect, sir.
Thank you. So let me put not equal to Facebook. Asterisk TH greater than or equal to 1st January or else 1st December, 1st April 2019, then less than or equal to 31st March 2020, then I want greater than or equal to 300, then I want less than or equal to 600. Do you think this combination works? Yes. Yeah, Kasturi, you are correct. Cognizant and West. Kasturi, can you repeat the question? I actually missed your question. All cognizance and all West data. You're correct, actually. Yeah, earlier one, as I already told you, okay. Oh, because my system was stuck up, is it? Okay, no worries. Earlier one, I said cognizant or West because these two are in different rows. That means my final data must have either the cognizant or the West. See it out. Every data will have either West or cognizant, either West or cognizant, either West or cognizant, and so on. You got the point, Kasturi? Yeah. Now, let me take this as a criteria. Okay. Now, let me take this as a criteria. Now, let's go here. Now, let me go to advanced filter. Now, criteria range is this. Now, the sum range, copy to another location. Let me keep the cursor here. Do you think Excel understands this language? Yes. Because the same language, do you remember while we were talking about the conditional sum functions, in the sum if function also we kept like this. In fact, in today's session also, I kept less than or equal to in the interest calculation in the sum if function. Of course, Excel do understand. I'm sure you can remember the wildcard characters which I have covered, where I was talking about the question mark, asterisk, and tilde symbol. Asterisk TH means everything ends with TH, right? Now, every record must have, which is not equal to Facebook, which is ends with TH, which greater than or equal to 1st January 2019, and the same date must be less than or equal to 31st March 2020. Amount must be greater than or equal to 300 and less than or equal to 600. If I click OK, check it out of this entire data, this is the only place where, okay, it is matching to this. Friends, you know, this can be used even in the dashboards. I'll tell you how. Generally, people, they give the data like this. The executives, whoever the people, they want to get the extract of this. Will the result obtained, will it be dynamic if we change the source data? No. No, that's what I'm talking about, Arun. What we can do, it may not change automatically. However, I can make a small macro in such a way. Okay. If user changes any of this part, what macro I can define at the backend? It has to remove this data and it should rework advanced filter again. So when user is trying to put, when you remove this, instead of THST, once you enter, because you are changing this, it is an event. In the macro, there are so many concepts. In fact, macro is another different concept. I'm not going much deeper inside. You can put a module into the macro. Module scope is the entire workbook. However, you can keep the events into the macro. Event is basically, I'm not going much deeper, but I'm just trying to explain you what exactly it is. There are so many events. The events are like, okay, now what I do, instead of doing this, let me open one Excel workbook. Now I can just go to developer. Let's go to the Visual Basic. Now this is the book one, right? I can make a module here. So you can write whatever the module you want. Okay. Whenever you write a code, this code is applicable for this entire workbook. Whereas when you double click this, that means I'm writing in the sheet one. That means my macro is only for this sheet. And when you select only the sheet, you will find the events. There are so many events in this sheet. Once you activate the sheet, what should happen? Once you, before deletion, what do you want? Before double click, what do you want? Before right click, what do you want? Before calculate, what do you want? That means you can make a program. Before change, before deactivate, before follow, hyperlink, before lens gallery, reminder, I'm not sure. I think recently they added. When it comes to the pivot table and so on, before selection change, see, with respect to the sheet, these many events are there. That means when you click change, it's a change event. When you do any change with respect to the cell in the worksheet, Excel gonna run the macro, whatever I'm going to display here. Okay, you can make a target, you can make a range, you can even define that. Okay, when it comes to the workbook, now let me take the workbook related events. So obviously, once you open the workbook, what should happen? Once you close the work, before you close, what should happen? Let me put here, because once you close, your Excel is not there. So it must be before close. Before print, what should happen? Before save, what should happen? That means before I want to save, it has to give me a pop-up stating that, Mr. Saran, you are going little early today. Or Mr. Saran, have you updated the timesheet? Or else it has to give me the entire to-do list before saving any particular Excel file. Okay, or else when you open an Excel file, once you open, immediately one macro will run automatically. Many people ask me, Mr. Saran, why macros are risky? Because there are cases where once you open a file, you need not to click any button, automatically one program will run at the backend. That is nothing but, okay, that is nothing but maybe it can call some other program also. It can go to some website and download some exe file. It can run automatically. You need not to do anything. You just need to open the file, enable the macros. That's all. It does everything. So now the question, I'm coming back to the question what Arun asked. By default, advanced filters are not automatic. That means if you change the data, this will not change automatically. Let me for TH. So when you change the data, this will not change automatic. But by just taking the support of the macro, I can make this automatic. So if a user changes any of these parameters here, this changes automatically. If anyone having any rather, yes, sir, ultimately is macro safe or not? I can't say that. It is based on the source from where you are getting. Are you getting from your colleague? Are you getting from your company? Or are you getting from outside the websites? So it's not safe all the time. It's not safe. For your information, many viruses these days are attacking through the macros. So it's not safe, but source is very important. That's the reason you have to trust the sources. Make sure that the data what you are getting is from the correct source. Otherwise, who knows what is there inside? It can be even a small macro, small code which can destroy your entire computer OS. Okay, so through which you can do this. So I just explained you the way through which you can extract the data, not by just using this, but also using the advanced filter instead of using a regular filter. And let me cover a couple of other small things. Friends, if you observe here, okay, there's a question. Sir, how can we save as Excel file from being corrupted? That is very vague question. Rather, it is based on macro to macro. As I already told you, it's very difficult to safeguard our Excel data or any data for that matter. That's the reason in the companies there are so many restrictions. You will not get any spam email. Even you cannot send any email to the third party. You cannot download anything from the website and so on. Once you are connected to the network, okay, and of course antivirus, firewalls, these all are of course important, but when it comes to the Excel related macros, I'm just talking about Excel. So source is very important, but once you yourself click enable the macros, run the macros, even your firewall cannot do anything for you because you accepted that. That means you are confirming that I trust this source, do whatever this so macro is doing. Okay, that's what the instruction you are trying to give to the computer. Okay, so that is a little vague question, but it is based on the source. That is most important. Now, the last important one which I would like to cover, friends, when I just take here, okay, when I ask Excel to look into this data for this criteria, when you keep the data to paste from here, because you have selected a blank cell, it has pasted all the 4 columns because my data is having 4 columns. But now what I want to I want to take date, I want to take company, then I want to take area, and I want to take, okay, instead of area, let me take amount. These 3 columns I want in this, okay, format. What I'm going to do now, all the FA, then copy to another location. It's going to be very simple. Okay, sorry. Criteria is anyway selected. Copy to another location. If you select a blank cell, all these 4 columns will come one after another. But when I say select this, what happens, in this order, only these columns will be pasted from this criteria. Check it out. TCS, Wipro, Microsoft, Cognizant. This came here and this came here. Why this is required, there may be a situation where out of 100 columns, I want only 4 columns to be displayed as an answer. If that is the case, this is the best one, you can go ahead. Otherwise, it's going to just give you all the 100 columns. I think using this method, okay, you may even have this thing. Using this method, you can even reshuffle the data in whatever the order you want. What is the relevance of unique records in advanced filter? The last point which I want to cover the same. Everyone please concentrate. Now, for example, not, okay, let me copy paste this, Control V, Control V, Control V. Okay. Now, let me apply the same for both the cases. Everyone please concentrate. Now, let me remove this. Now, let me remove this. When I am just going for advanced filter, when I'm just going for this criteria, when I want my Excel to copy to another location, this is the place. Once I click OK, it will paste everything, right? But if you observe, there are many transactions which are duplicate. But I want to avoid that. What I'm going to do, let's take this advanced filter, select the criteria. Criteria is exactly same. I don't want any criteria. Okay, if you want, you can take it. Otherwise, it's the same criteria. Now I want to copy to another location where I want to paste from here. Now once you click unique records only, it eliminates the duplicates. Now these all three will not come. Check it out. Check it out. You got the point, Arun? Yeah. Okay. Great. This is the way we can use the advanced filter, but advanced filter, another 20% is there. I'm going to cover in the next week. You can even get the data based on the formulas also. Okay. Till now, these all are constants, right? Even you can make a criteria, a formula through which you can extract the data. Okay, that we can see in the next week. Don't miss the next week session. I'm gonna cover two important concepts called advanced filters and the data validation. I request you, please don't miss the session. Let me very quickly look into the topics which are pending for our workshop. Just give me 1 minute. Just bear with me for another 1 minute. Okay, so I think a filter I'm done almost. Maybe another 10% is there. Data validation, this will also get closed in the next week. If possible, even conditional formatting I'll get closed. So next week, okay, next week will be the 19th week. By 19th week, the topics mentioned in the syllabus till 18th week will get over. Okay, so that pivot tables I want at least 2 days because I want to make it more elaborate. Okay, pivot table, that's the reason I said for 19th week and 20th week. Then what if analysis maybe 1 day, protection maybe 1 day. Actually not one day. Basically I can cover what if analysis and protection together in one single day. Maybe whatever the backlog we can make it here. And the last 3 weeks gonna be introduction to the macros, events, whatever I'm discussing today, how to create our own user-defined function and so on. 1-2 hour session, I'm going to cover the Power Query and the advantages of using the Power Query. Maybe the conclusion session, we can take up some case studies and we can explain. Sir, I won the felicitation award for being a paper presenter in Gurgaon CA conference held in this Jan. Wow, Radha. Congratulations on behalf of Vijayawada branch of SARC and especially from me and on behalf of everyone in the class. All the very best and happy for you. Guys, that's all for today's session. Thank you so much. Don't miss the coming sessions because the future session is going to be most important. I'm sure the session is already live in the YouTube. Whoever missed any part of these videos, you can go to the Vijayawada branch of SARC of ICI YouTube channel and you can watch it. The Dropbox link I already shared in the WhatsApp groups of Vijayawada branch. You can just open it and today's files are also available there. Thank you so much. See you all in the coming week. Bye-bye.